This is Manuka Subaru Friday Night Rivals, sponsored by USA Metal Roofs on MyTV.
Welcome inside Veterans Memorial Stadium. We're in the Electric City in Lackawanna County. Tonight, it's a Friday Night Rivals Top 10 showdown between two Lackawanna Football Conference Division I teams. It's number 4 Scranton Prep and number 7 Scranton. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Ide, and welcome to a beautiful night for high school football. Amanda Cool will be on the sidelines, and in the booth with me, once again, former Tunkhannock area coach Jan Cechak.
Thanks, Bob.
These two teams have met 19 times. Scranton has won the 6 of the last 10. Should be a good one here tonight.
It's going to be a great one. 2 undefeated teams battling out for the pride of Scranton right now, and we're going to have a fireworks show, I believe, on offenses on both sides.
Speaking of offense, Scranton Prep's putting up like unbelievable numbers, 53 points per game. Their starters, though, have only played 6 quarters in those first 3 games. If the Cavaliers want to win tonight, we're going to look to Liam Barrett. He's our Manuka Subaru Spotlight player.
Well, Liam Barrett is just an incredible young man. He's short in stature, but I'll tell you, his heart is as big as his stadium. He's got 3 touchdowns in the air, and he's also rushed for 1 this year, and he also has 1 interception. He really does a great job for the Cavaliers.
Let's talk about Scranton. Big win last night in the last week in the Bell game. And one player that we have to see, and everyone has to see, one of the best in the area, is our other Manuka Subaru Spotlight player, and that's Billy Maloney.
Billy Maloney's going to be the quintessential quarterback that runs that RPO to perfection. This year he's thrown for 6 touchdowns, and he's also rushed for 4. He plays free safety for the Knights, and it's going to be a great game.
It should be an absolutely great game. We talked to both coaches. They gave us keys to the game. Let's go for the visitors from Scranton Prep.
Well, Scranton Prep always, number 1, play physical defense, and 2, the turnovers. Last year they had 2 turnovers that cost them the game. And then for Scranton, same thing. They want to limit mistakes, which they include as penalties and turnovers, and they want to be able to tackle in space because they're worried about Prep's receivers.
Well, we shouldn't have any cramping tonight. It's a beautiful, chilly night in downtown Scranton. But let's check out the weather anyway with Mike Susko from the Fox 56 News, first at 10.
Hi, Bob, and happy Friday, everybody. As we look at your Friday night football forecast kickoff, we're going to be around 66 degrees here. Halftime dropping back to around 61. And by the end of the game, look at that. We'll be in the 50s. So it's going to be a cool night tonight. We're going to be good weather-wise. There's not going to be any issues, but you will need a light jacket, I think, for the games if you're going to be sitting out there, because temperatures, like I said, will drop back into the 50s, but we're not going to be dealing with any rain, which is good news. But we will have those cool temperatures to start off on your Saturday. We'll talk more about that. But for right now, Bob, let's send it back out to you on the field.
A year ago, it was Scranton 21-9. Who will win this battle of our Friday Night Rivals top 10 teams? It's number 4 Scranton Prep and number 7 Scranton. Next.
You're watching Manuka Subaru Friday Night Rivals, sponsored by USA Metal Roofs on MyTV WQMY.
And here come the Cavaliers trying to remain undefeated, as are the Scranton Knights. Friday Night Rivals, top 10 matchup in the Electric City. Welcome back, everyone, to Veterans Memorial Stadium. The third member of our crew, as always, is Amanda Cool. And Amanda, how will Scranton react to winning the Bell last week, and can they come back in another big game?
Well, that's right, Bob, and you said it. It's week 4, and it's the battle of the unbeaten as Scranton hosts Scranton Prep. Scranton is coming off that big win over West Scranton in the Bell game, and it's the 5th straight time that they won the Bell game. The big question is, can they replicate that same level of intensity and dominance against Scranton Prep? When I talked with Scranton senior Javon James earlier, he said tonight's game is just as emotional and important as last week, and it sets them up for the rest of the year. So they're ready for this. They're in it, and it's just as important as every other game.
And it was on a Saturday, so they have less time to recoup, but it is their high school kids. How did you handle a big game on a Saturday going then into a Friday?
Enjoy it Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and then coaches were back to work Sunday, gave the kids Sunday off, and then back to work Monday. And it was just mostly a walkthrough because you really couldn't do much because of the short turnaround time.
So there you see the receivers back. Scranton Prep won the toss. They say, we want the ball. Why not when you're averaging 53 points per game? Liam Baird on the right, Tay Weeks on the left, and there's Getting ready, the Knights, to kick it off for this Car Vision Nissan kickoff. Big game for both teams. Could be the division title on the line down the road. On a beautiful night for high school football in northeastern Pennsylvania, we are all set to get this one underway. D-Kip to Weeks from his 9. Tay Weeks, the junior, with nice speed, has a hole. He breaks through. One man to beat. And he does it. Tripped up. Scranton Prep on the board. 13 seconds in. Touchdown, Tay Weeks. 91 yards to the house.
Well, they set that up perfectly. Coach loves to run his returns towards his sideline, whether he's on the visitor or the home. When he used to play here, Scranton Prep would call this side, but you see Coach Billy Pasqualiccio giving a high five. Look at this, great patience in there, good burst right there coming through, and then he just outruns the kicker out here, number 99. Thought he could have had him, but no, great balance, going right down that tight rope of the sideline in for the touchdown.
Well, you have an offense that's running at a high-octane pace. The special teams doing it as well. On to the extra point. The freshman, Jack Hartshorn, perfect on the season. Can he remain that way? And he does. Scranton Prep takes the early 7-0 lead. The Knights have to come back. We talked about them coming back from the game last week. Now, what are you thinking if you're the Knights?
Well, it was one play, and again, they got pushed around. The gaps were there. Scranton Prep gets the plus on that one for special teams, and the Knights now just have to try to retaliate, try to get good field position, and then just go to work and let Billy Maloney do what he does best, run that RPO for the Scranton Knights offense.
We talked about the Knights. I mean, they averaged 35 points themselves. They've been in tougher games. They beat Wilkes-Barre week 1, 35-27, destroyed Valley West here in their home opener, 29-0. And then, of course, the Bell game last week, they won that 43-25. They lost last year to the Delaware Valley in the 5A title game, 24-21. But they do have 5 returners on offense coming back, and their line is pretty good. Now, they did lose a key player for the season this year. Ellie Ortiz is out, and he was a pretty big option for them on both sides of the ball.
Last year he had 5 picks all season, so he really did a tremendous job for the Knights on defense. Offensively, he added that speed and his little bit of wrinkles on the offense that Coach Chumbers likes to run with the Knights.
So Hartshorn with the strong leg as a freshman. His brother, of course, that long, great kicker, all-region type kicker from Abington. The last 4 years, he's at Scranton Prep. He'll tee it up. Back to receive. It looks like Billy Maloney, the quarterback. And we said he does a little bit of everything, Jan, including special teams.
Well, he's a selfless kind of player like that. He'll go wherever he feels the team needs him, and the coaches have all that trust in him, and they know that he's their best athlete.
So up 7-0 on the opening kick touchdown. The Knights have the ball. This is Memphis number 5 brings it up for them, and for our set to return, that's Eddie Salazar. So here is Billy Maloney. There you see his numbers, 421 yards on this season, 6 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions.
Well, that doesn't even show his rushing touchdowns on there either, but that's just as a quarterback in terms of his throwing. And again, playing it conservative, and he does a tremendous job with the RPO, and he's done a really nice job spreading that ball out to all his receivers.
He's rushed in his career for over 1,100 yards on the ground, 12 touchdowns. Through the air, 1,800 yards. So they say he is a major part of their offense, would be an understatement. Here's Maloney. He'll whip it out. And it's caught, and it's close to a Perfect Storm Renovations first down. He gets it out to Memphis Shadow, looks like, number
and again,
2.
Just a real quick release, which it really is hard to try to get any pressure on a quarterback. And what I'm seeing here is reminiscent of what the Vikings did last night to the Eagles, Bob. They're only rushing 3 because they're dropping 5 to 7 guys in their secondary coverage.
Of course, Prep's
now
defense,
they're 4.
starting defense, has not played a lot. They have not given up points as starters. Overall, as a team, it's just 8 points, and Maloney's first carry is only up for a couple. And he torched them last year, did Maloney. 141 yards and a touchdown on the ground a year ago.
He really was a difference maker last year, as were the turnovers that the Knights converted to points to beat the Cavaliers last year. Now Prep's going back to their base 4-4 defense, and folks, they are one of the toughest defenses in all of Northeast Pennsylvania. They're just so physical when they play.
First true test for the Cavaliers. Salazar on a little end around, tripped up by Reese Tanner. And here are the starters. Brought to you by USA Metal Roofs for the Scranton Knights. We talked about Maloney and Shadow, already part of this game. The receivers revamped a little bit because of that injury. You have Salazar and Johns, Perez and Del Sandro is your tight end. Up front, boy, they had to really shuffle some people around. Mikado's in there at the left tackle, Esposito, Whalen, Salazar, and Javon James, the big right tackle at 288 pounds as a senior.
Well, that left tackle actually got the call at game time to start tonight.
Shadow somehow dives forward. It's going to depend on the stop. If he is to the line to gain over the 45-yard line, they give him a first down. So nice job on that left side.
Great job. Look at that. They just have the lead block, number 9, coming up, trying to clean things up. You see all the white jerseys that they plug the gaps, but again, tremendous job with the running and second effort to get that first down.
Tanner, 8 total tackles on the year, 2 for a loss. He's a junior. Strong junior class for these Cavaliers. And the Knights back out on their opening drive, down 7-0. RPO, it will go to Shadow. He's tripped up by Aiden Britton. His 18th tackle on the season. Now the defense for the Cavaliers, giving up just 163 yards per game. They started in the 3-4. Coach mentioned they go to the 4-4. It's Palermo, Sharples in there, and Ambrose Rossi. Suma, Tanner, Britton, and Barrett are your linebackers, and the secondary tonight, Weeks, Doughton, McPartland, and Barrett. So the Cavaliers back into that 4-4. Maloney on the fake. Nowhere to go to. Doesn't throw it out of bounds. He's taken down. First sack of the night for Scranton Prep. Looks like Sharples and Palermo scares me.
Boy, Cam Palermo, number 55, the 240-pound senior, just wreaking havoc up front. Look at this nice pursuit by 75. Ambrose Rossi out there. I mean, they just had nowhere for him to go, and they did a great job with their secondary coverage, not allowing anybody or any daylight to be shown.
The sack will be given to Naheem Gonzalez, a 270-pound senior. He's that fourth guy that came on the line, number 68. So it's 3rd and long now, facing Scranton. Loss of almost 8 on the play. Maloney fakes it. The Cavaliers are ready for that. They've seen this last year. Nowhere to row. 4-yard loss on the play. The Knights forced the punt.
Great job gang tackling Aiden Britton in there, the senior linebacker. Look at that, number 25 playing the line of scrimmage there. Just bounces everything back inside, and that's what you want to do. You want to push the running back into where your help's coming, and that is from the inside.
John Perez listed as the punter, 29-yard average. He is. This is his second punt all year long. Ortiz was the punter. Nice hanging kick. Barrett back to receive. Pulls it in from the 33. Has room. Does have a touchdown last week against Lake Lehman, over 70 yards, so he has a lot of speed. Can't get back out to the outside. Good special teams by the Knights to contain him, but the Cavaliers have the ball right at midfield.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you.
So your quarterback tonight, Lewis Paris, second-year starter, junior. There you see his numbers, just 1 interception on the year.
That's tremendous. 8 TDs and 1 interception. He's done a great job grasping what Coach Terry wants done with the offense, and Coach Pasqualiccio, the offensive coordinator. He said he's a really smart kid, really studies and takes his time trying to understand how they want the offense to be run.
Really only played in 8 games last year and a couple playoff games, threw for over 1,000 yards, and already I think we have a timeout for the Cavaliers on offense. Didn't have the right personnel in there. And 6:59 remaining here in the first quarter. The Knights up. And there you see the referees. Jason McDermott, saw him at Dunmore. Pasco, Boynton, Janelessa, Grassi, and Rowinski. Tonight's referee group from the Lackawanna Football Conference in District 2.
Rockin' Models. We carry a little bit of everything from all over the world. Unique gifts are our specialty. Located on the 2nd floor of the Marketplace at Steamtown. Rockin' Models.
Bob Ide, Jan Cechek, Amanda Kuhl on the sidelines. She'll be checking in with us soon. Cavaliers' first possession of the game. If you missed it, it was an opening kickoff return of 91 yards for junior Tay Weeks, who put the Cavaliers up. So they'll run Paris a lot, and he's a big kid. He's up for 8, and why not? 5'10", 190. Likes the weight room, and you can see why.
Yes, he does. And watch this. This was a design quarterback keep the entire way. Look at how 70 kicks out. Look at the out from the top of your screen. Number 25 up there as a wide receiver. That's Reese Tanner doing a great job on his stalk block, pushing down to create that lane to the outside.
So the Knights defense on the year giving up 17.3 points per game. They do have 9 sacks and 7 tackles for a loss, and they will be tested again. It's Paris again, boiling through. It's a perfect storm renovations first down, up in near the 35, and they'll move the chains.
Offensive line is definitely reestablishing the line of scrimmage. Number 53 does a nice pin and pull on there. That's Travis Sharples, 5'8", 250-pound junior. He's not super tall, but boy, is he a stud in there.
Cavaliers had to replace a bunch of guys on the offensive line, but they did return their center, Gonzalez, a senior 270-pounder. So that's good consistency, especially with Paris back there. Trayvon Dickey back next to him. They fake it. 3 straight runs from the quarterback. Hey, Maloney can do it. So can Paris, and Paris up for a perfect storm renovations first down.
Well, it's amazing, this RPO that everybody has evolved over the last 5-6 years on offenses. Watch how he just does a great job with the fake in there. And then number 25, again, I mentioned him earlier. That is, he does a great job. Reese Tanner coming down the line of scrimmage, pulling up inside to lead block for his quarterback.
Cavaliers last week, a big win over Lake Lehman, 59-6. So just how good are they? Well, we're going to see this year. Quinton Palermo, first carry, the senior, and he gets a nice gain of 8. So time now to take a look at the USA Metal Roofs starting lineups for the Cavaliers. Paris, Palermo, and Tanner when they have a fullback in there. Tay Weeks, Barrett, and Suma. Nobody's 3 good wide receivers. And up front, it's Rossi, Sharples, Gonzalez, Palermo, and that is Quinton's brother. And Gunnar Zeladonis, first start as a Scranton Prep Cavalier transfer.
Wow.
Princeton area. They're going to try an end around little shuffle play with Liam Barrett, and he didn't really go out the outside. He cuts it back in, and they're going to be 3rd and short now.
Great job by Salazar and James, the D tackles in there, not getting pushed down, plugging up the holes, and no lanes for Barrett to run at all. Nice job.
Cavaliers started out slow a year ago. They finished with like an 8-4 record. They ended up winning the district title. They changed quarterbacks midseason. Of course, the biggest thing was that they lost London Montgomery in week number 1. First penalty of the game. Going to go against the Cavaliers, illegal substitution. So as I was saying, we had that first game last year against Lakeland, and they just didn't look like an offense. But they changed things. They morphed their way through the season, ended up winning the District 2 AAA title, and it almost knocked off Newman Goretti right here in the state playoffs.
They did, and to Coach Gallagher and the staff's credit, They were shell-shocked, because London Montgomery, they lost him in their only scrimmage last year, so they never had him, a showcase, a top 5 prospect in the state of Pennsylvania. So they scrambled to try to find their identity, and they did a great job of doing that. And you can see what their identity is. They're going to run the ball, smash mouth football. It's kind of like me, old school.
Eagles did it last night, right? You can run the ball.
If it's working, don't fix it. I mean, you don't have to toy around with it. Nice job on there it is. Again, Lewis Paris being really patient with his fullback, which is we said Reese Tanner coming across, is lead blocking for him in there, and he's just real patient, letting the blocks develop so he can find space to run.
6 plays so far on this drive. Paris has 4 carries already. Dickey with a move. He already has a touchdown on special teams. Holds on to the ball. He's up for Imperfect Storm Renovations first down. They are in the Kelly Mahindra red zone. And it will be first and goal Cavaliers.
Boy, Ty Weeks, look, they motion him across. It's a give. Number 53, I talked about Travis Sharples before. Does a nice job blowing up on the linebacker. Ty Weeks just gets in there, and he's just a little short of that end zone.
Maloney with the tackle to save a score. Scranton Prep trying to take a 2-touchdown lead. Behind big number 55, Palermo. It's a touchdown for Lewis Paris. His 3rd on the season on the ground.
You'll see right there, they're just lead blocking, blowing up the line of scrimmage, establishing it. Just 1 yard is all they need, and then they needed 2 yards for the touchdown, and he does a great job, Lewis Paris, getting in there. One of the things talking with Coach Gallagher at the media day, Lackawanna Media Day, was he didn't say it, but it was kind of implied that there's some payback that they had this year for a couple teams. One of them was Lakeland, and the next one is Scranton. So
8 plays, 50 yards, 14-0 lead for the Cavaliers in the first. Number 4 over number 7 right here early on, 14-0 the score. Hartshorn has it teed up. 3 Knights back to return it. Maloney in the middle. Nice, strong, high kick. Goes to the right. Salazar right through his arms. Still on the ground, and it looks like Prep has recovered.
Boy, we talk about special teams 1/3 of the game, and right now that 1/3 of the game has been dominating for the Cavaliers over the Knights. And this is not what you want. Look, it just comes in. He looked up. He didn't have his elbows together. The ball just squeezed through his hands, and you can just see heads-up play. Good recovery by number 11 for the Cavaliers.
That's Brady Holmes. His dad played for them in the 90s with Will McPartland. So legacy there, and he has a fumble recovery. Cavaliers have the ball up 14-0 inside the 30 at the 29. So big test now for this Knights defense. Palermo, Quinton. No, fake. Faked everybody out. Paris with a nice job on that RPO, and he picks up 6.
Well, that's reminiscent of what Don McPherson at Syracuse used to run, the freeze option. If you notice how the quarterback steps off the midline, rides the fullback, and pulls and keeps, it's just another variation of an option. That's I love it.
Maloney had to make the tackle, and Maloney took a big hit. So Prep just using power, old school football here. Old school Big 10, old school Big 11 here for people in Lackawanna County. Good job by the Knights to string this one out. Quinton Palermo, no game, but there is a flag down. But we'll take a look at the defense first, and then we'll check out the flag. USA Metal Roof's defense for the Scranton Knights. Spindler, Salazar, James, and Del Santro are up front. Whitman, Paps, Wiboa, and Chandler, the linebackers. And the secondary, just 3, Amante, Maloney, and Shadow. Jason McDermott, our referee tonight. Going to go against the Knights for illegal motion. That will back them up 5.
And Oliver Altamonte, the left cornerback, did a great job coming up and stuffing that run and really waited for the rest of the Scranton Knights to come and help give him and drop that young man back for a loss.
Scranton's defense has given up 126 running yards on the ground, an average, and they're doing a nice job so far in the last 2 possessions. Palermo goes for a loss, so that will bring up fourth down at about 11.
Well, it just took a little bit of time for the Knights to wake up. They're doing a nice job shedding some blocks. Look at that. Number 16, that was Craig Papps, the middle linebacker for the Knights that came up and made that first impact hit to stop him and actually drop him for a loss.
So the Cavaliers will go for it. Under 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. We talked about Hartshorn. He has a strong leg. It's a little bit too far out of his range right now, and the wind is going right into his face.
And as a freshman, he doesn't need to be out there right now. They have a lot of confidence in their offense.
Tyler Mackerel comes in, the senior, throws it up and tries to hit Suma, the tight end. It goes incomplete, and the Knights hold on downs after the fumble on the kickoff, and that's a huge victory, even more a moral victory for the Knights.
It really is. It showed that they can play defense. They're starting to get pressure now. A little bit of a blown coverage. Linebackers got to drop back a little bit deeper. Papps has got to realize that, and he'll get coached up on the sideline saying, look, when you see him crossing your face, ride him to make sure you can find your free safety or your help over top.
So that brings the Knights offense back out, and their only possession so far, I have them for 6 plays and 6 yards. Maloney back. Going to go try to hit a big one, and he can't. Good coverage downfield by Jamie Baird. Trying to hit Oliver Alamante, the senior, at 6'4".
Well, I'll tell you, that's a great target. The ball was just a little bit overthrown for 6'4". You see him up there reaching for that, so that makes it about 7'3", I would imagine, just estimating there. And again, the ball was just out of his grasp. Great play, though. That's what they need to do. They're trying to get the large chunks of real estate to start moving the Knights down towards the end zone.
Inside reverse, and tripped up is Salazar. So third down now, long for Scranton.
Well, his tight end, Chris D'Alessandro, is the one that actually took him down. You'll see he starts to hit, and right there, he just tripped over his right leg. So I like the play design. You know, Billy Maloney's going towards his left. They got the running back and the tight end coming back to the right-hand side. Again, good push by the Cavaliers' defensive line.
Big play on offense here. Under a minute to play in the first quarter. Scranton unable to do anything so far. Maloney, has a ton of time. Finally gets pressured and is taken down. Can Palermo, his 3rd sack on the season.
Well, you'll see they're just relentless pursuit and aggression of the defensive line. Number 55 up there for the for the Knights, excuse me, folks. For the Cavaliers, that is Travis Sharples does a nice job. Cam Palermo, the senior, does a nice job with those footwork, handwork, and he sheds the block and puts the pressure and drops him for a 5-yard loss.
Cavaliers trying to put the pressure on, and they do. Perez can't get it off, and he's taken down. Aiden Britton takes down the punter, and it's 1st and goal. Cavaliers at the Scranton Knights 10-yard line. You saw the pressure coming, and he couldn't get it off.
Again, the snap was high. He had to come down, and look at that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 white jerseys in there. They had nowhere to run with that, nowhere to kick. Not that Coach Gallagher's going to feel happy about this. We know Coach Gallagher, his personality, and the players reflect their head coach. Again, they're not satisfied with it. They just want to make sure that they're going to put this team out and get them done early.
So Mackerel and a quarterback in the power eye. We'll have to check out what happened to Lewis Paris. Sometimes they switch, though, back and forth. Palermo nowhere to go. So the Knights defense coming up strong in the last 2 possessions. But they're down 14-0 at home. Quarter number 2 is on the other side.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals. Scranton Prep leads Scranton 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. Joining me now is Toby Grisenda from NEPA Builders. Toby, we're back for another year of Raise the Roof. Tell me about it. What is Raise the Roof?
Yeah, so Raising the Roof is a partnership. It's a community give back program. Fox 56, 84 Lumber Company, NEPA Builders, to come together and do something for the community. And what we're doing is we're giving away a free roof replacement to somebody who really needs it and otherwise can't afford it.
Last year was our first year doing it. What was that like, meeting the family, and how special was it for you and your entire team to give that back to them?
Yeah, it was great. Nothing like it. We had a young family, a family member had cancer and was going through really hard times, couldn't work for a long period of time. And it was awesome for us to come and be able to do something for them that, replace a roof. It was $15,000 to $20,000 value there. And, I think it just took a big weight off their shoulders to have that security for the winter that was coming. So, yeah, it was great.
So if somebody at home watching knows a family who is in need of a roof and is deserving, what can they do to nominate them?
Yeah, so please go to our website. Again, it's a program, it's a community effort. We can't do it without the community. So if you're in Scranton, North Scranton, West Hill section, wherever you are, go to our website, NEPA BLDRS, navigate to the Give Back page, and nominate someone that you know that needs some help. If the neighbor down the street, maybe a family member, their roof is in disrepair, nominate them. Let's do something together that provides a lot of value to our community, and it's a great feeling. Let's do it together.
All right, Toby, thank you so much. You have 6 weeks left of high school football, 6 more weeks to get those nominations in. Bob, back to you.
Okay, a lot going on the field. Thank you, Toby. As you see, that is Tyler Mackerel. He's the backup quarterback for Scranton Prep. Here you're going to watch the play, and then we'll talk about where the starter is, Lewis Paris.
Well, they ended up having a single back, and they motioned him out to the left, and great job with his reads, and what a great effort, second effort, to get that ball over the end line for that touchdown.
So they gave him a touchdown. Hartshorn kick is up and good, but Mackerel had to replace Lewis Paris, who we saw a lot of in one of the first drive. He was on the sidelines getting looked at by the trainers, moving his shoulder around. That's the most we saw. He was coming back and forth, but, if Mackerel lost his helmet there and had to be taken out of the game, they'd have to go to the third-string quarterback. So there you see number 5. It looks like he's going to get taped up. There's Coach Gallagher going over, shaking his head. And we'll have to see now what happens to Lewis Paris. Well, he carried 4 times or 5 times in that one drive, had the touchdown. And, that's the risk you take when you're going to run your quarterback, right?
Oh, absolutely. And this is where, people don't understand sometimes, like, what is at stake. When you're running an RPO like that and the quarterback is responsible for the read, the pass, and the option, and then when he gets banged up from the runs, it can limit your offense play calling. But, the way that Tyler Mackerel just came in there and took over, like they didn't miss a step. So the way Scranton Prep is played, though, a lot of their backups already are getting playing experience in 3. I mean, it's been a short season, 3 games. They've already had 3 games worth of experience, the second teamers.
Okay, so 21-0 to score. Scranton Prep out in front. Hartshorn teeing it up. So that'll be the good news for Scranton Prep, is that they are up 21-0 if they have to go back to Tyler Mackerel. The running game's going pretty well. So they bring it down, and it is Shotto with a head of steam, and he gets a big hit.
Number 14 and 44.
Doughton. Jack Doughton with a huge hit, looks like, on special teams.
Great burst in here. Look at that full head of steam, and just number 44 just comes and mauls him down. That's a tremendous job by number 44.
Byron Axtell was number 44. He changed jerseys. So the Cavaliers on their first play, down 21-0, yard gain on that. Start this drive right at the 35.
And number 75, Ambrose Rossi, 240-pound, they said 6'7" defensive tackle, just wraps him up and drops Billy Maloney for a short gain.
Again, Maloney had a nice big game last year.
Well, Coach Pasqualiccio, the offensive coordinator for the Cavaliers, said that they really, have a lot of respect for Billy Maloney, so they're going to try to do their best to contain him, and we have a timeout called.
10:25 left in this first half. It's been all Cavaliers. Special teams, defense, and offense going the way of Scranton Prep here in this Lackawanna Football Conference Division I showdown, the opening of conference play for both teams here in 2023, and both teams coming in undefeated at 3-0. And what do we got to do if you're a Knights fan? We have Billy Maloney. They're keying on him now. Somebody else has to step up.
They really do. Maybe with the RPO start giving it, or doing the quick hitter with a fullback up inside. That 4-4 defense that the Cavaliers run, though, they play it so well, so physical, and their secondary is really shutting down all their receivers. So they're going to have, at halftime, they're going to have some scheming that they're going to have to come up with.
From the gun, Maloney fakes it, pulls it down, and barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. We have a flag coming in. Doesn't look like a late hit. It looks before the hit. It's going to be holding against the Knights, it looks like, on the preliminary call. Jason McDermott, our referee. So this will back up Scranton. They have been unable to get anything moving their way here.
Bob, that's to answer your question from before, what do the Knights have to do? That's not what they have to do. When you start holding, that's just stop the mental breakdown. Just relax, guys. There's a long way to go in this game, and you can't grab jersey. Again, it's pretty obvious.
So that will back them up 10 from the line of scrimmage for Scranton. Put them in a hole, but it is second down remaining. Maloney wants to make plays with his feet, but sometimes you think he might be better off sometimes throwing the ball out of bounds and not taking a big sack.
And he feels the pressure that he's got to do something to try to spark the team, but just do your job. Don't over play. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, here comes the rush. Maloney, there we go. He picks it up, but he's going to try and find someone downfield, and it is caught. Great catch by Perez. And a big gain into Scranton Prep territory. That was all Billy Maloney.
And that's what the Knights have to do, and they know Billy Maloney can do that. Great job eluding that front four rush. Nice ball. Way to get open there, John Perez. Great job for that first down. Again, now they're in the Cavaliers' territory, so let's see how this plays out.
His second catch on the year for Perez, the senior, but it's a big one. 38 yards, keeps the drive going for Scranton. Down in this game. Shotto next to Maloney. Salazar in the end around. Runs into a brick wall and taken down hard. Jamie Barrett still talking. Laid the wood on that, and there's a flag. A little bit too much talking from the senior.
Again, look at that. Great job. Comes in with the shoulder. Gets a great drive in there, lifts his leg, drives him to the ground. Again, emotion. Football is a game of emotion. You got to keep those emotions in check.
So that will cost Scranton Prep some yardage and give the Knights real good field position inside the 35 on the unsportsmanlike play. Now remember, these starters for Scranton Prep have not played a full game, and they have not given up any points.
And now that the Knights are knocking, they've got to maintain their composure right now. Of course, every coach wants to go undefeated. They want to go unscored, let shutouts every game. But right now, they've just got to play this series and play their best football.
Maloney on the option. Out to Shotto. Can't get a block. And there's Rossi in there, Doughton, and Suma for the tackle.
That's what makes this Cavalier defense so hard to score upon, is because they are fast-flowing, attacking style defense with that 4-4, and they have a lot of relentless pursuit that goes on. You saw a linebacker, defensive end, and a cornerback converge to make that stop.
Suma coming in, 9 total tackles on the year, 2 interceptions and 3 for a loss. Rossi as well, 8 total tackles, 3 for a loss. Has a forced fumble. Second down now, facing the Knights. Inside handoff, and right into Reese Tanner's hands goes Salazar. No gain on the play.
Well, that formation, you'll see they have that bunch formation on the right-hand side. You have a one-on-one down here towards our sideline, folks. Again, a quick fade, could get the Knights back into this real quickly.
So Prep expecting the run, shuffle in some players. So on third down, Maloney going to look, try to go downfield, and he had an open receiver at the 15. He overthrew Salazar.
And the Cavaliers went to their 3-man front, so now they have an extra secondary guy in there to take away from that previous play. Again, just overthrew it. He was wide open. The safety and the corner went to the deep man. That in-between route, the middle route, was open.
7th play of the drive. It started on the 35. A couple penalties in there. One on the Knights backed them up, but they converted a third down play of 38 yards. Here's a 4th down play in 12. Maloney back. Little fade, and he can't hit Salazar down the sidelines. Prep holds, and they'll get the ball back. 8:08 remaining, and up 21.
Here we go. Again, a little play action rolling to the right. You got a short, medium, and a long, and he was trying to hit that medium pattern going right down the sideline, the wheel route, but not for a knot.
So it looks like Tyler Mackerel, the 5'11 senior, is going to take this possession. We saw Lewis Pears with his helmet off. Walking around, he's still down there walking around, so whatever's wrong and doesn't affect the legs or anything. So they're going with Mackerel the rest of the way. At least for the first half, we would presume. Mackerel with some experience, knocked out of his hands, or may have just dropped the ball. Looked like it slipped out of his hands.
We'll see that one on replay to see what happens with that. Here we go. Great job, guys. Thank you. He just didn't have a good grip on the ball. It looked like he had the back point of the ball as opposed to the laces. That's why it kind of flew funky like that.
See if they go back to the ground game, use the big offensive line, up 21-0. Started out with a T-Weeks 91-yard opening kickoff return. They do hand it on to the inside. Palermo. He's got a perfect storm renovations, first down and more. Inside Knights territory goes Quinton Palermo, the senior.
They did. They went to their big front with their double tight ends, and they're just moving people out of the way. And Palermo, nice job with that run in there. Boy, if you guys give him an inch, he's going to take 10 yards on you.
27 yards on that. Remember last year when they lost London, Palermo had to come in, pick up the slack, ended up gaining over 1,000 yards last year and 13 touchdowns.
That's a pretty good year for someone who didn't expect a lot of playing time.
Dickey goes to the backfield. They give it to Trayvon Dickey, the junior, up a short gain, and rolling around, it looks like Javon James. Nope, it's number 66, Aiden Salazar, a senior, not getting up, so we'll have a trainer come out and check on him, bring up second down.
See if we can see that up front, what happened in there. Yeah, he was the one that made the tackle.
I think he got rolled up upon by Palermo on the backside.
So, yeah, again, I don't want to speculate on any injuries, especially now.
No.
I think this one looks like it may be a shoulder.
We'll see what that is. So with 7:13 remaining, an injured player on the field. We'll take a timeout here. 21-0, your score. Bob Ide, Jan Cechak, Amanda Kuhl back at Veterans Memorial Stadium in downtown Scranton. And what a beautiful night for high school football. Fall is in the air.
It
Fall is in
certainly
the air, right?
It's football season, folks. It's about time that we have a nice, cool evening. No crampage going on. I mean,
not even up here in the booth.
No. We're properly hydrated just in case.
Yeah. Just how good is this Cavalier offense? Well, 353 yards on the ground on their opening game against Lakeland. Folks, they beat them 70-7, and their starters did not play the whole second half. So it was a total team effort. And Liam Barrett, our scholar athlete, talked about him in pregame. He gets free, and he goes in for a Cavalier touchdown, 41 yards. Wasn't even touched.
5'6", 165 pounds. He had number 53 and 55 pulling for him. You'll see those big guys coming right in your screen. Great job. Kick the defensive end out. Look at number 53 downfield trying to find work. But the speed of Liam Barrett gets him into the end zone. And talked to him during pregame, our spotlight player. His favorite team's the Steelers. He wants to go to college next year, be a business major, and hopefully he loves playing football. So that's part of his dream. He's done some visitations, but nothing yet, commitment-wise.
Have a whistle on the PAT from Hartshorn. It's going to be offsides against Scranton. I'm pretty sure Little's kick it up again with Hartshorn, and they're perfect on this season. So Barrett goes in for the touchdown on the ground. Last week he had a punt return for a touchdown as well.
Well, the sophomore A.J. Kroom is the holder. He was waving off. I'm just curious what he was waving off. I think he was saying, let's kick it, let's kick it.
Hartshorn's strong leg is up and good, and the Cavaliers extend their lead 28-0, 6:56 left in this first half, and they have dominated the Knights here in just about every phase of the game. They came in saying, people said you didn't beat anybody. Well, 3-0 Scranton's figuring out just how good Scranton Prep might be this year.
Well, both teams really have played, everyone says they haven't played anyone. You step out on the field Friday night, anything can happen. So you have to bring your A game. And they've done that. Scranton Prep has done that. They've allowed their starters, once they get a comfortable lead, Coach Gallagher and the staff, they pull them out. They get the younger kids in to get their reps. So they're ready to go with that next man up mentality. And the Knights also, they've been battling every week. It's never been a blowout for them. They've just battled. And Coach Shumbris and his staff, they've done a great job. The numbers are at 58 on their sideline, which is tremendous, especially for a bigger school. We've seen some of the schools, 4 or 5As that are barely at 40. So they're doing something right. Scranton's just got to endure. They're going to regroup at halftime, and hopefully they can get a nice drive together to punch it in.
Next week, Prep will host Delaware Valley. Scranton Prep playing their home games this year at Dunmore High School, where they played here for many years at the Veterans Memorial Stadium in Scranton. They moved locations. Scranton has North Pocono next week. We'll check on some scores. Speaking of other teams, just a few minutes. Hartshorn has it teed up. High kick, a little bit short. Salazar from about the 19. Brings it up forward, and the Knights down 28. We'll have the ball right there. Let's go into the stands with Amanda Kuhl.
That's right. For our Perfect Storm student section, we are in the Scranton student section, and with Dan. Dan, what makes your student section unique?
Win or lose, whether we have the numbers or not, our student section is going to show out for the Scranton Knights night and day, every day, for the entire school year, every sport.
How do you guys show your support for the teams?
Well, we do different themes for every week. This week's Country Club, as you can see, we got some people in our outfits, some people aren't, but we're supporting the Scranton Knights. So
Absolutely. So how do you guys come up with these themes, and what are some of the remaining themes?
Well, every year we sit down, we discuss the themes that we're going to do. We make a huge list, and we designate each game for each theme, and next week is going to be country theme. So I'm excited for next week against North Pocono.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, thank
you.
you.
In the Perfect Storm renovation student section. Nice student section on hand across the way with the Scranton Prep students. Knights as well. And again, this is a rivalry game. The schools are literally blocks apart here. And a lot of these kids played youth football with each other. Whether you were in Scranton with the Vikings or, playing with Abington or playing with Lakeland, whoever, they know each other.
Well, and again, this is another great rivalry game that we have. Wonderful run right here. You see, look at it. They're coming up. They're just pulling their offensive line 55 and 72, doing a nice job lead blocking. Now, the Knights have a 3rd and 4, which is so much more manageable than last year's when they were 3rd and 20.
So the Cavaliers have pretty much contained Maloney. He does have a big pass play. He has a lot of time to throw it. Maloney back in, and he pulls it down. Has the Perfect Storm renovations, first down and more. Maloney's best run of the night. There is Billy Maloney inside Cavalier territory to the 45. 15-yard gain for the senior.
Well, Bob, you said he's got to start looking downfield. He was doing that, but a great coverage sack there for the Cavaliers, and he's trying to direct traffic back there as he's eluding blockers, and he ends up turning it into a 15-yard gain.
Let's see if this ignites a Scranton offense that came in averaging 35 points per game, 368 total yards per game. That's in the first 3. Inside the shadow, he had a hole, closed quickly. It looked like Palermo tripped him up, as did Reese Tanner.
Nice job in there by the offensive line. Look, they're pulling big number 78 right there, 76 Orlando Machado. Doing a nice job getting up there, starting to move some of those white jerseys, allowing the running backs just a little bit of daylight, and you can see what happens when they start to maintain their blocks and stay on them.
So a nice little drive here before the half. Scranton trying to get back into it. Oh, it's picked off. Intercepted right in the hands of Suma. And it's another turnover for Scranton. His 3rd interception on the year for the 5'11 senior.
Suma does a great job with this. He's playing back shoulder. The quarterback threw that little soft, stepped right up in front of that. Great job. Look at the ball security. Tucks it into his right hand. He's coming towards the right sideline. Great coaching right there.
Timeout on the field. Looks like they didn't make a signal. Here we go. It is a timeout. Here, let's take a look at this INT.
So Maloney's rolling to his left, and he does a nice job in terms of trying to set that play up, but the ball was just thrown short, and he does a great job stepping up in front of that. Nice job by number 6.
Taken by Scranton, the timeout, as they'll bring the offense back up. 28-0 the score.
NFL on Fox this Sunday. The game of the week is the New York Giants against Arizona. The Giants were humiliated 40-0 last week against Dallas, so they look to get redemption this week against the Cardinals. Fox NFL this Sunday only on Fox 56.
Give you some scores after this from the Lackawanna League, as the Cavaliers come out with Mackerel at quarterback. Paris banged up after this strong start. Quick out to Dickey. Makes a nice move because he didn't have the blocking out there, and he makes something out of nothing for 3.
Well, that was one of the keys to the game for the Scranton Knights. One was turnovers and limit those. They haven't done a good job there. But this was good. They went for empty backfield set. That was a quick hitter, quick screen outside. They want to make sure they can contain the receivers in space.
Reese Whitman, the sophomore, with a tackle for Scranton. This is a big possession for this defense. One, you don't want to go into the mercy rule and be down in the second half because the clock just goes. It doesn't matter, the score. And two, you want to stop them and get the ball. You have the ball to begin the third quarter. So a huge defensive effort coming up for Scranton. Instead, they gave up a big play. They find Dickey down the sidelines, Mackerel with a nice pass, and the Cavaliers in business in Scranton territory.
Boy, Dickey does a nice job getting right in between, but more importantly, the offensive line gave Mackerel the time to throw the ball. He just ends up going down the sideline, and great job, great ball. Not what the Knights wanted at this point.
29-yard play. Prep trying to put up 35 in the first half here in the opening of the Lackawanna Football Conference Division I play. Illegal motion going to go against the Cavaliers. Back them up 5. So I mentioned some scores. Some of our FNR top 10. Lackawanna Trail is leading Honesdale. Dunmore is beating Riverside in the second quarter. Trail 21-7 over Honesdale to remain undefeated. They play Dunmore next week. So we're starting to get into those big games. Mid-Valley over Old Forge 20-0. Valley View leading North Pocono 14-7 at the half. In one game, we saw Loyal Sock last week. They trail now 14-7 second quarter to undefeated Danville. So Mackerel with the fake. Wide open fullback. Nice catch by Tanner. He takes a big hit by Maloney and Salazar, and he's up inside the 30.
They just go with the bootleg on this, simple bootleg. And again, what happens on that, the fullback attacks the defensive end and slips out into the flat. And again, he just got a nice 3.5, 4-yard gain.
It seems like Mackerel's getting a rhythm now. He's finally, the first throw wasn't that good, but now he's finding time. He has time. He's finding his receivers.
And the confidence level is starting to build up for him, that he knows that he can get the job done, just like the coaches have the belief in his confidence.
Mackerel timed over the middle in the coverage. Oh, knocked out of the hands. Maloney got a hand on it. Trying to hit Tate Weeks on a little fly over the middle. Brings up third down.
Really good coverage by Billy Maloney right there. He has time to throw the ball. Let's see. Kind of like, to me, it looked like the ball got away from him, but that just may be his throwing motion, which we're not used to seeing him because we're so used to seeing Lewis Paris on film.
Mackerel came in 3 for 4 with 31 yards. He has already surpassed that tonight. So Billy Pasqualiccio, the OC for Prep, not afraid to let the senior throw the ball around. So a third down coming up. You figure you're in 2-down territory here. We're under 2 minutes to play, and we have a timeout.
And they have a heck of a kicker, too, so. I like seeing Mackerel. He's like, all right, he's got a little pep in his step. He sprints over. Right there, I think Coach Pasqualiccio was like, let's go. We got to get this going quicker. Let's go sharper, crisper. We're better than that.
Well, last year, Scranton shut down Scranton Prep. 68 yards rushing and 71 yards on the ground. As I said, they beat them last year 21-9. It is totally reversed tonight because last year 290 yards rushing for the Knights against this Cavalier team. And obviously that was preached all week long by Terry Gallagher.
It was, and I alluded to the fact earlier that at the media day that they had some payback to do on some teams because they felt last year that, they were taken advantage of because everybody was game scheming for London Montgomery. You take him out of the equation, and a young quarterback, young running backs, it takes time for them to gel. So, they're they're playing with a sense of purpose tonight.
So after the timeouts, 3rd and long, facing this Cavalier team, up 28-0, trying to add on to that, going into the break. 4-man rush for the Knights. They haven't gotten any pressure on the quarterback at all. They're going to send the outside blitzer. They pick it up. Macro pulls it down. Didn't find his first receiver, and he's going to be about a yard short of the line to gain. 4th down coming.
So they went no backs again. They motioned to 4 receivers to the left-hand side. Secondary play-wise by the Knights, nice job, and that's why the quarterback turned up. And I'm sure Coach Pasqualicio will tell his quarterback, slide, slide, slide.
2 tight ends set. Prepping to the I-back. And I think we're going to have an offsides. Remember, Macro's a senior. He's played before. He knows the offense. A little bit more mature, made a nice cadence there, and the Knights fall for it. So it's a perfect storm renovations 1st down for Scranton Prep. They are now inside the Kelly Mahindra red zone.
Yeah, Javon James, the senior, 6'1", 288, was the gentleman called for that offsides, and he let his presence to be known on that unsuspecting offensive guard.
Big rush. Mackerel hit, and it's incomplete. Suma kind of had it in his hands, fell down and through his hands. Low throw, but.
Well, that's a tough one for Suma. I mean, again, he's got his feet, but he was going backwards. The ball, he was reaching for the ball in front of him, and it just dropped. It happened.
Kind of turned his head. You know, he had the guys out in front. He was expecting a big play. First thing I got to do is what?
Catch the ball.
Catch the ball. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's easier to say.
Yeah.
2nd down now facing Prep. They started this drive on their own 36, trying to close this halftime out with some points. Well, I would say they're in field goal range already with Hardshaw and kicking. And delay of game. It is a delay of game.
Yes, sir. That's one thing I already can tell Coach Gallagher and the staff are going to work on this coming week is the amount of penalties and the mental things that are going on when you have an offsides or if you have a delay a game. But again, you have a new quarterback in there, so he's not going to call it as fluently as Paris would.
Macker with time again over the middle, tried to hit Barrett. It was a little off the mark. Maloney was there. I think Craig Paps as well, 16 maybe.
Yeah, it was. Paps was like, oh, son of a gun.
That was actually Dylan Finnerty, number 19, the senior. So I named 3 guys and got 3 guys in there. But the real guy that made the play was number 19, folks.
And that's my mistake up here because I'm not making excuses. The glass is a little fuzzy, hazy. So
you didn't wash the windows.
I did. I forgot to bring my squeegee with me.
3rd down. Macro again with time has a receiver. 2 receivers in the area. Dickey got a hand on it. Couldn't pull it in.
Don't think that's a design play where 2 receivers are in the same exact spot. Dickey just all of a sudden he just ended up. He was open, was trying to lead down with his hand up in the air. Just couldn't make that reception.
So we will not see Jack Hartshaw trying a field goal here. Probably be like a 30-some yard range. Instead, they'll leave the offense out. 4th down. This is huge for the Knights. Again, they get the ball to begin this 3rd quarter. Here comes the rush. Macro flushed. Still looking downfield. Doesn't have anybody. Gets horse-collared. No, he gets ripped around the neck. No flag. And he will be well short the Knights hold.
Great defensive series for Scranton Knights right now. They were playing their cover 2 shell back there, so good job with the secondary coverage. Nice job with the linebacker coming up and meeting them and making sure that he got them and dropped them for a loss. They get the ball back, so now 55 seconds. They have a timeout left. Let's see what they can do. Oh, they have 2 timeouts.
Two
Excuse me,
timeouts.
folks.
Yeah, it's hard to read the scoreboard. 2 timeouts left. What do you do? Are you aggressive down 28-0, or are you conservative? No, you're getting the ball to begin the third quarter.
I think Coach Umbras is going to put the pedal to the metal and keep his foot on the gas. Let's go. Let's try to get something going because we are going to get the ball back to start.
Well, that won't help. Scranton Prep just called their last timeout. Coach Gallagher runs the defense. Didn't like something? Coming up in the Toyota halftime report, we'll check in on the Fox 56 News first at 10 and see what's coming up on Fox 56. Jan and I will be back in the booth. So stats and highlights. Here is what Scranton has the rest of the way. They will host North Pocono next week.
Tall order with Wyoming at Wyoming area.
And we will have that game, in fact.
Yes.
We will have that game at Wyoming area.
And then at Valley View, 2 tough road games. Abington, they're playing great football again.
Yep.
Del Valle is huge. And Wallenpaupack, early on, they're 2-1 this year. So they're doing some things right for Doc Watson up there at the lake.
Wyoming area still undefeated after beating Scranton last week. And they're in contentions for our Friday Night Rivals top 10. So Terry Gallagher not liking something with the officials because the ball's going to move up. I'm wondering if I don't want to speculate.
You can't. It's tough because
I didn't see the call from Jason McDermott. Did they not have a timeout? I almost feel like they used 3, but maybe that's just me. And the scoreboard said 1, but
it did.
Evidently that gives Scranton good field position, whatever the call was. They're up past the 35 to their own 38. Again, they have 2 timeouts left down, 28. Just a 3-man rush for Maloney. Going to go down into double coverage. Who has it? Oh, they're going to get a flag. This will go against the Cavaliers, and a big break for the Knights.
And again, everybody, it's not a spot foul. This will just be 10 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Looked like it was that Almonte, number 21, their intended receiver?
I believe it was.
Good pass from Maloney. Barrett and Liam Barrett and Jamie Barrett, not related on the coverage. So that will give 15 yards for Scranton inside now Cavalier territory at their 47. Again, still 48 seconds as you see on the clock. And because of 2 penalties, they've almost gotten 30 yards.
And again, it's not like the officials feel bad for a team and trying to keep them in it. No, they're just blatant penalties, and you got to call it.
Oh, they're going to try a little run, end around, nowhere to go. They'll probably use a timeout here. Trying to spring Salazar.
Number 25 and 55 for the Scranton Prep defense. Doing another great job stringing that play out and making an impact. Cam Palermo, number 55, and Reese Tanner, the linebacker, inside linebacker, did a great job on that read.
Scranton not calling a timeout, under 20 seconds. Maloney back, 4-man rush. Going to air it out downfield to Amonte again, tipped, and it goes incomplete. Good coverage by Liam Barrett down there. 12 seconds on the clock. Not sure why Scranton wouldn't use a timeout after the run.
That was a nice job with the protection by that offensive line up there. Esposito, Machado, Whalen, Salazar, and James gave him time, gave Billy Maloney time to get that ball downfield.
So 12 seconds left. Again, looks like 2 timeouts on the scoreboard remaining. It's got to be quick if you're Maloney. He's looking for anything. This will probably roll out the clock. Still on his feet. Maloney down and picked off. Right into the hands of Suma again. 2 INTs from behind. holds on to the ball, and that's the way the half will end. A half dominated by Scranton Prep. On all three phases of the game, they'll take a 28-0 lead into halftime. The Toyota Halftime Show is coming up on the way. All Cavaliers here in the Electric City.
Welcome to the Toyota Halftime.
It's Toyota at the half. First, we'd like to present, on behalf of Manuka Subaru and MyTV WQMY, Friday Night Rivals, a check for $250 to the Scranton School District. Tonight, John Coyle, the principal here at Scranton High School, accepting it prior to the game. 28-0 the score, number 4 over number 7. We bring it back into the booth. Bob Ide, Jan Seachak, and boy, Tayweek set the tone early. Opening kickoff, 91 yards, and it's been Cavaliers throughout the whole first half.
You know, he took 13 seconds off the board to start that scoring drive, and they haven't looked back. Offensively, defensively, and special teams have been dominating. The offensive and defensive lines for the Cavaliers, they're playing lights-out football right now, and it's been really tough for Scranton to do anything offensively.
Absolutely. I mean, it's 0 points. Scranton came in averaging 35 points per game. The question marks were around Prep. How good are they? Well, folks, they're pretty good. They have Delaware Valley next week, but, you know, right now they're on all cylinders, even with a backup quarterback in the game.
And really, I mean, Scranton only has 64 total yards offense. I mean, that's not very good for a team that's been averaging almost 300 yards, 35 points a game, and they're being shut out right now. Now, for Prep, they are, Bob, like you said, they're hitting on every cylinder, special teams, offense, defense. They've got 3 picks, I believe, already.
Yep.
The turnover game, Coach Gallagher, that was one of his emphasis. He wants to play physical football. They're doing that, and he wants to work on the turnovers. They're doing that.
Well, let's take a look at some first half highlights, and I assume they're just going to be dominated by Scranton Prep. Here is this opening kick, and Weeks had a big gap, and he's got a lot of speed.
Great job by that return team to set him up, and, you know, he just used his speed. Nice job tiptoeing down the sideline, get in there. Early score sets the tone. Now we come back, and guess who it is? Paris coming in for that touchdown. He ends up with 40 yards, but we went out. Now, here's one of the key turnovers of the game. Great job, great fumble recovery
Brady
there.
Holmes, yep.
By Brady Holmes, yep. And again, now, Scranton trying to get things going. There's nowhere for Billy Maloney to throw to. Great secondary coverage. Cam Palermo on the stop right there. And you'll see now, here he goes, Mackerel. Boom. He just, look at that. Determination to get that ball in there. It wasn't a design quarterback keep, but he just had the desire to get that in there. A bad snap. Ball up into number 1, and here we go. Liam Barrett coming off the right side in for a 43, 45-yard scamper in there for a touchdown. Now, Billy Maloney trying to make things happen, looking downfield. Does a nice job trying to set that up. And again, number 6, Andrew Suma with his second pick of the night. I mean, there's nowhere for Scranton to go right now, so it'll be interesting to see what Coach Chambers does.
What are quickly numbers on Billy Maloney? And it will tell you how the defense is playing for the Cavaliers. They have limited him to under 50 yards pretty much on both sides of the ball.
Well, I mean, again, they've had 25 rushes for 64 yards, so it's really not boding well. Plus the 3 turnovers is a recipe for disaster for the Knights. Coach Chambers now has a chance to get the team back in. They get the ball to start the second half. I'm sure he's probably like, okay, guys, we know what they're doing. They're playing a 3-man front on us when we're in our passing formation. Let's try to start taking advantage of the underneath routes that can be open. We can't go downtown because they've got 4 guys back deep.
Okay, we'll take a quick timeout. Both teams expected on the field soon. We'll have the second half kickoff coming up on the other side. 28-0 the score. The Knights ready to come out of the locker room, up 28-0. Amanda, though, is stopping the Scranton Knights coach, Steve Sumbris. Ask him about the first half. Amanda?
Coach, a tough first half. What's the message to the team at the half?
just come out and play football. Don't worry about the score right now. Let's get a drive together and let's see what we can do. We're playing a really good football team right now, and we're just making too many mistakes.
Is there any adjustments that we could expect to see?
Yeah, we made a bunch of adjustments at halftime, but it's just playing with heart for the second half and just playing football.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
And the Knights ready to come back out, try to get back in this one. Jan, what do they have to do? What adjustments do you think he made?
Well, I think he's a little disappointed that the kids aren't playing with the intensity and, as he said, heart, which is tough because when you're down 28-0, you've got to do something. Billy Maloney can only do so much. He needs the rest of the team to rally around him, and they just need to put a drive together, like Coach Sumber has just said. Let's just go out there, play with some intensity, play with some heart, and they know they're playing a very good Scranton Prep team right now.
Well, we're, third week in? Why not look at some district standings, see what's going on? But most teams are starting into league play. So we see the Cavaliers leading 3A right now over a very good Western Wayne team, which they beat them last year in the finals. And then the rest of it drops off.
It does. Right now, Hanover's losing pretty handily right now. Carbondale is in a battle with Tunkhannock. Lehman, it's not Coach Gilski's year this year, unfortunately. I mean, he brought like 12 of his players to the media day. He was really excited. They've been working hard, but footballs bounce funny, and they just haven't bounced their way. And Scranton Prep is making a statement tonight.
The most competitive, I think, class will be 4A.
Yes.
And that's where we're going to see a bunch of teams from the Wyoming Valley Conference and from the Lackawanna Football Conference right in the mix. Wyoming area is winning. Dallas and West will play tomorrow. North Pocono, Valley View is undefeated. We'll see them against Del Val. Tunkhannock hanging in there, Wallenpaupack. I mean, so that's probably the most competitive, which it is almost every year in District 2.
And again, Coach Manel he wasn't expecting this type of results. I mean, he does every year, but he wasn't sure because there was a lot of key players that had to replace. Wyoming area Coach Spencer, he knew that he had a loaded team with Crossley in there. What a great athlete. North Pocono, we know Coach real well. He was hoping for a better result in that first week when they ended up losing. Valley View, new coach up there, doing a tremendous job. Tunkhannock, new coach. Coach Keating, I think, is doing a great job, admirable job up there, taking over. Wallenpaupack, Doc Watson, doing what he does best. The surprise is Crestwood right now, that they just haven't been able to get their first win of the year.
And they're losing right now to Valley West 7-3.
Wow. And then Nanacoke, actually, their wing T has really been pretty efficient, but they just haven't been able to get that second and third win.
And a quick look at 5A. That's where we'll find Scranton in there as well. Abington, you mentioned them playing really well. And Delaware Valley, folks, they're 0-3, but they played 3 great teams. They start division play tonight, and we'll see from there. They have Scranton Prep next week. We'll see them against Valley View. We'll know how good Delaware Valley is for the Lackawanna Football Conference in the next few weeks.
They've gone out of they went out of state on one game.
Yeah.
They went really far out.
Grove get week 1.
Yep, and they're just playing the best teams available, and it's really difficult for them to try to find things locally. Now, they're going to go on a tear, and then we'll see how well Coach Olsmer and his Del Val team, they respond now. Again.
Well, tonight, how about we check the score, Coach? They're hanging in there with Wallenpaupack. It's the Warriors leading the Buckhorns 20-14. That's in the third quarter.
Well, part of Coach Olsmer in the offense, they've had a hard time trying to find their identification this year and trying to figure out what they can do well. And now they're starting to score some points, so that's good for them.
There see some of the freshman players from Scranton Prep doing ball boy duty tonight. Nice, decent crowd, and I'll tell you what, Coach, when you go outside, you're going to need a jacket. It is chilly.
It's chilly out there.
It is fall. It's chilly, and boy, great football weather. So both teams in their huddles. Scranton, I said, will get the ball to begin with. Billy Maloney just 39 yards passing. Cavaliers doing a nice job containing him. After last year, he lit them up for 141 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, and then threw a touchdown through the air. No surprise this year. Cavaliers were ready. So now let's see what Coach Shumbrus's adjustments are. And we'll go from there. So Hartshorn going to tee this one up. Maloney is deep to return. And the CarVision Nissan second half kickoff is about to take place here in the Electric City. Little squib kick. Going to try to, get a fumble again. Scranton covers it, and they're at the 30. That's where Billy Maloney will come back out on the field, trying to lead his Knights to victory and try to get some points on the board, one step at a time, right?
It's just one first down, and then they'll get a second first down, and just keep the ball away from Scranton. But their defense is playing lights out, stymied style defense tonight. They're not allowing them anything, really. There's no wiggle room for any type of error for the Knights.
And this is the first time this starting defense for Scranton Prep has seen the field to begin the third quarter. No one has scored on this first team defense yet for the Cavaliers. Maloney fakes the handoff, goes up for a couple.
And you can see why. Again, we talk about gang tackling, and as coaches, we want to see how many kids can get into the picture at the end of the play. And if you do this, folks, you're going to see at least 4 white jerseys there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys coming in there. They want to get their numbers in that picture at the end to show that they are hustling and they are aggressive.
Scranton Prep kind of started out in a 3-4 defense. They're back into their 4-4, it looks like. Maloney out into the flat. Has Shadow, and Memphis Shadow is up, and he's crossed the 40, and it's our first Figure Law Firm first down of the second half.
Well, and that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to take what the defense is giving them. Again, the short patterns, I spoke about that earlier, which is one of the things they're going to have to attack, because if you look, they have 3, 4 guys playing deep for the Cavaliers right now, which what ends up happening is you have nowhere to go downtown.
Liam Baird with the tackle. Try the little end around. Kamani Sterling, the sophomore, gets the carry. Kick it to the outside.
Andrew Suma does a great job at the linebacker stringing that out. He got a short game and a 1-yard gain. So here they come, end around, coming around. Look how he just played that. Great job, Suma. He had the receiver. He just got great separation, shed him and he went to the outside to tackle him for a 1-yard gain.
Jack Dowling, number 14 also. He played for the last couple of years. Maloney just going to try to find a gap. He does. Bounces off 3 or 4 Cavaliers. And right at midfield, about a half-yard short of the line to gains. So third down now and 1.
Well, Billy Maloney, this is part of what makes him so special, that he can come in here. He knows he's going to get hit, spins, stops, pivots, rotates, and he still gets another extra yard or 2 just from that extra effort.
Jamie Baird there on the tackle for the Cavaliers. Opening possession, third quarter here. It's been all Scranton Prep throughout this game. Maloney stopped behind the line of scrimmage. What a play, but shooting in from his end spot. That looked like Aiden Britton came in. We'll take a look at it again. He loses a yard.
Well, they went from their base 4-4, and all they did was they rolled the outside linebackers up, and that was Jamie Barrett, number 28. From his outside linebacker, came up to a 6-man front, and they knew they were going to try to go to the outside because the inside's taken care of with the 2 big men inside for the Cavaliers.
An early roll of the dice here in the third quarter. Scranton going to go for it on 4th and 1. And I believe someone called timeout. Steve Shumris, an early timeout here in this half. Wants to talk it over before he gives out the 4th and 1 play. 9:18 remaining here in the third.
You're watching
Scranton cheerleaders doing a nice job tonight, cheering on their fans. Miss Knight in there. So on 4th and 1, what are you calling? Number 10?
I would say number 10 on the quarterback sneak. I'd be underneath, but that would be a dead giveaway because they haven't shown that at all this evening.
Cavaliers think it is number 10. And number 10, Maloney gets the figure law firm first down, up for 2. Finds a little gap on that left side, just enough to
just
move forward.
Running patient, and he saw a little bit of daylight, went to it, got that key first down. Keep this drive alive. Again, Bob, this is what you would ask me, what do they need to do? Now, they've got their 3rd first down here. Keep this rolling and keep the ball away from Scranton Prep.
Keeps the drive alive. Starting at their own 30, down 28. Scranton trying to get some points on the board. Inside to Salazar, nowhere to go. Taken down quickly. Britton coming up on the bottom along with Rossi and Palermo.
What I want the viewers at home to watch is how disciplined the defense is. They're not over pursuing. They're playing their gap responsibility, and that's why there's nowhere for any of the Knights to run this evening. Just a well-coached defensive team out there.
Maloney finds an open receiver. The Cavaliers on him quickly, and they get it out to number 4, Adrian Johns. 7th catch on the year.
Well, this was the play prior to that, what I was saying about how good and their discipline is. Here's the pass play. We said, Bob, they're going to have to take advantage of what they're given. Throttle down, go to the dead zone. The dead zone, folks, is where there are no defenders. Just stop, make yourself big, show your number to the quarterback for an easy reception.
Number 41 has been all over the place tonight for the Cavaliers. He came in with 17 total tackles. And I'm telling you, every time I look at the field, 41 is somewhere on the tackle. That Suma wraps up Maloney. 4th down and about 1.
And again, we just go with what they're doing. They're trying to combo block on the offensive line, take care of the first defender. Your eyes, the second man's eyes are at the linebacker, but those linebackers are flowing so fast and so quick, it's not helping.
So another 4th down call for the Scranton Knights, down 28. Papst in there, the blocking fullback. They're in the power I. On 4th down, they'll hand it off. Puts his head down and nowhere to go for Shadow. The Cavalier defense hold. Scranton Prep will take over on downs.
Well, 55, 25, 75. They're all just doing their jobs. Look at that. Number 6 comes up and blows that up. Great job by Andrew Suma again. I mean,
Rossi was the first guy in there. You saw the big 6'7", 240-pound junior. Looked like no one blocked him. He was quick off the ball, and he wrapped up the running back. And
he's just such a lanky football player. He doesn't look as big as you think he is, folks, but he is all that 6'7".
And you'll see him on the basketball court as well. So Prep takes over, and the first play goes to Quinton Palermo, and he goes up 11 yards for a figure law first down past midfield.
Coming on in with that inside zone. There it is. He likes what he sees, and he squeezes out 10 yards for a figure law first down. I mean, they just make it look so easy, and that's because the offensive line, everybody, is doing their job. They're controlling the line of scrimmage, reestablishing it, and just taking advantage of the defensive linemen.
Tyler Mackerel, the senior, in at quarterback. Lewis Paris is banged up in the first half. Don't expect to see him, so they're going to go steady dose of number 8.
And Palermo says, just feed me the rock. I'll keep it going, Coach. Just keep it going.
Saw that last night.
So he did.
With the Eagles, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's
just
correct.
Run the ball.
Coach Ide, you understand that very well. Sometimes we make things as coaches a little bit more complicated than it needs to be.
It's just football. That's what we
That's
say.
it.
Just
It's
football.
just football. What do you know?
So Liam Bear will go little sidecar to Mackerel, and they'll hand it off to the senior with some running room. Barrett with speed and some power. He's up for a figure law first down inside the Kelly Mahindra red zone. A big game for senior Liam Barrett.
Well, our spotlight player of the game shows a lot of patience when he's running. He just does a great job. Look how patient he is in there. He's not outrunning his blocks. He's letting them set up, and then he's trying a little juke action in there, and smartly just spins out of bounds.
20-yard gain, and I believe the Cavaliers are showing off many weapons they have on offense.
Well, when Bob, you and I were discussing who would our feature player be, and it was just hard because all of the kids from prep, there's so many different weapons in there.
Palermo again. He's up inside the 10. Close to another figure law first down, about a yard short of the line to gain, but they're inside the 10.
You see 53 and 55. Look at 53. That was the previous play. He's downfield trying to find work. Great job. And here's the play just now. Same play. Guys are still pulling, except going to the right. They're coming to the left.
A replay department trying to, show what kind of drive they're going through.
And the progression of it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Our crew is the best best at what they do, and we appreciate it.
This is Tay Weeks. He has a figure law first down, and it's first to goal, Scranton Prep.
Well, Cam Palermo is the right guard. He was the first man trying to kick out the D-end. Travis Sharples, number 53, pulling from his left guard, looking for any cleanup work in there. You see that? See how he's lead blocking? And he says hello to one of the D-backs.
Prep just using power football. Reese Tanner, the big fullback, leading the way for Palermo. He's tripped up, good defense. Pabst in there quickly from his linebacker position, along with Ray Wabowo, a senior, to at least slow down the Cavaliers at this point.
They just run an ISO play right there, or we call a wham play. The fullback's kicking out the D end, the guard's coming up inside, kicking out. They're just taking control of that line of scrimmage.
Toss. Palermo puts his head down. Flag comes in. Another flag comes in from the backside. So I would believe this is on Scranton Prep, Coach.
I think there was a hold in there. You saw they were doing a great job. The Knights were stringing it out.
Holding here.
So they just go with a quick toss to the left. And look at that. Right there's the hold on them. You just can't do that. You got to let them go. Great call.
So this will back them up 10 from the line of scrimmage. Still second down for Scranton Prep. Time ticking away, though, in this game on the Knights. And the Prep offense inside the Kelly Mahindra red zone has been successful twice tonight. Again, this team averaging 53 points a game in their first 3 games. Over 400 total yards per game, and they're going to be close to that tonight. Here in their first Division I league game of the Lackawanna Football Conference, and another timeout or flag? Flag, thank you. This is something that's going to drive Terry Gallagher nuts.
Number 6, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Suma.
Replay second down.
I was looking at our preview camera when you said about Coach Gallagher. Yeah, he's not very happy because those are the mental mistakes that will cost you a game, especially when you're going deep in the playoffs. You can't afford to do that.
So it'll be a tough film study on Monday. You might get a big win, but a lot to talk about. So they'll spread them out 5 wide now. Mackerel by himself. Second and goal from the 18.
Corner creeped in for the blitz.
And they had a receiver trying to hit the big fullback downfield, Reese Tanner. He dove for it, just out of the reach of him. Third down now.
You'll see here comes that corner. Just put a little bit of pressure on, but it wasn't not enough to disrupt the throw. But it just he may have stepped up a little bit too quick, and that ball was just misled.
Hartshorn has not attempted a field goal yet. He is a freshman, so think we'll see him if we can't make it. 3rd down and goal from the 18.
I don't think so.
Into the wind? No, I don't either. Gonna roll Mackerel. Four-man rush, and Mackerel just pulls it down. Almost took a big hit down there. Got down quickly. He's up till the 6, and that'll be about it. And here is the field goal team.
Drops back, looks. Again, 2 receivers were in the same spot. So again, I'm not sure who the wide receiver coach is. They'll have in the coaching room, and then in the players' coach's office, they're going to be talking about that. Guys, you can't be in the same spot. That's why the quarterback ran that.
So Mackerel with a heads-up move, which sets up Jack Hartshorn field goal, his first attempt of the season. It's about 24-yarder. He has a strong leg. Snap, kick is up, and it is good. So Prep extends the lead 31-0, 1:56 left. And time now to go to Amanda on the field for, well, our Prep student section.
That's right, and they have a lot to cheer about. Our Perfect Storm student section for this quarter is the Scranton Prep student section. I'm here with Joe. Joe, what sets your student section apart from other student sections, and what really makes you unique?
We have like a great community of sports teams at Prep. The football guys support the basketball teams come the winter. The basketball guys support the football teams come the winter, and the baseball teams are there for both of us too. So it's really great just seeing all the athletes come out and support each other, along with other people like involved in play and stuff. Like, there's a great community at Prep of student athletes and people just involved in extracurriculars.
What are some of the traditions of your student section?
The Cavalier Rumble, big one for football and basketball. A lot of t-shirt tosses, yeah.
All right, and can you get them fired up for us? Thanks, Joe.
And the Perfect Storm renovation student section, Scranton Prep. Somewhere in there.
A lot to cheer about
tonight. And for the first 3.5 games, and this game's not over yet, but you think 4 games, almost to the point that you get bored. And you don't want to say that, but as a student section.
When you're pulling your starters, after the first half, it's great for the younger guys to hear the student section cheering for you, and they're gaining invaluable reps and experience. But, this is the first time that the Cavaliers have kept their first teamers in.
Hartshorn's kick is deep. And running away, Reese Whitman, the sophomore, had nowhere to go. Trevin Dickey on the coverage down there. And it'll be Knights ball. So recapping the drive real quick, Prep went 7 plays, 58 yards. It was a 24-yard field goal. Hartshorn, there's your top 10. It will be made. There will be some changes. Dallas plays tomorrow. North Schuylkill playing. Danville and Loyal Sock going at it. Scranton here is going to probably go for a loss. Trail winning. Mount Carmel was losing, believe it or not, to Milton.
Yes, they were.
And the first 4, Southern Columbia, Selinsgrove, Jersey Shore, and Scranton Prep, most likely will stay the same. Jersey Shore, if you have not heard, Max Engel, number 4, hurt last week. They had to cancel the game, as we'll see this play. So they had to cancel the game for the Bulldogs against Shikellamy. They will make that game up on Monday, and then in turn, Shikellamy and Selinsgrove will move another day onto Saturday. So as you see, Jersey Shore will play Shikellamy on Monday. They tied last week. A wise thing to do. Selinsgrove and Jersey Shore, 11 seconds left in the game. The young man collapsed. We don't know anything about his condition. Throughout the week, we've heard some statements from the Jersey Shore School District, but our thoughts and prayers go with Max Engel and the Jersey Shore School District. Everyone wearing orange in District 4, and of course, throughout the whole state,
Yeah,
as well, everyone thinking.
And right in our student section over here at Scranton, the yellow sign, it says 4. You know, there's a big heart for them. So, you know, everybody, we get it. It's a football community across the whole state, and everybody just pitches in, especially with the prayers and thoughts for the Engel family. There you go, number 4 strong. Beautiful. Great job.
And great job by Scranton to think about that. I mean, Jersey Shore is a 2-hour ride.
Oh, yeah, they're Jersey what? They're thinking New Jersey.
Yeah, no, out in Clinton, Lycoming County. So our thoughts and prayers go with number 4 as Suma makes the tackle.
Suma suplexed him on that one. Wow, nice hit and a slam, body slam.
Shadow gets up slowly.
I don't mean to make light of that in terms, but watch how his technique right here. Gets his shoulder, gets the drive, and then boom, wraps him down to the ground. Again, that's what we practice as coaches. You would have a dummy that you would take like that. You squeeze, and then you turn, and then you just drop them onto the pad. So,
our Friday Night Rivals, team number 4, looks like they're headed to 4-0. One more quarter left to play here in the Electric City.
Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals, and for the second week in a row, our Scholar athletes are both football players, so let's get right to it. From Scranton Prep, you heard his name a lot tonight, Liam Barrett. Liam Barrett is a member of the football team and the captain of the lacrosse team. He's a member of the National Honor Society and Spanish Club and boasts a 3.7 GPA. Liam is a volunteer at St. Francis and the local soup kitchen, and he helps coach youth lacrosse. Liam plans on playing football in college and wants to study business or finance. And from Scranton, lineman Javon James is our Scholar athlete. Javon is a 4-year letter winner in both football and wrestling. He's a member of the National Honor Society and Political Science Club, and he participates in dual enrollment, takes AP classes, and has a 4.0 GPA. He is his class president and volunteers with the Pancreatic Cancer Network, and he plans on playing football in college, and he's going to study political science. Guys, 2 impressive players yet again. It's going to be a really hard choice at the end of the year when we have to pick just one for our scholarship.
Yes, absolutely, and I'm part of that committee, and it's always tough. And there's what these kids do, not only in the classroom but in the community, to help out at all the schools that we go to. As Maloney picks up a figure law first down, it's just amazing.
It really is. It says a lot about the kids, the school, the coaches, how they're instilling, you know, how it's important to give back to your community and just the little things. I mean, Javon working with the pancreatic cancer, my gosh, I mean, a senior in high school, you got to worry about college, school, but now you're going to go out and help somebody that's less fortunate. I mean, my hat's off. All these kids week in and week out are top-notch and really represent what Northeast Pennsylvania football is all about.
And it shows you, not only do you have to work hard on the football field, you have to work hard in the classroom. Both players will play somewhere in college. And the way they're talking, they're very good colleges from what I hear on both sides for Liam Barrett and for Javon James because of the classroom work.
Right. I mean, when you have a 3.85 and a 4.0 grade point average, colleges will look at that and say, this young man or this young person knows how to study and apply themselves. That's what's going to get those kids involved, actually get them enrolled into the colleges that they want to get to. So, Bob, to your point, yes, hard work in and off the classroom.
Timeout taken on the field. Knights moving the ball down the field. Have a third down coming up. Not much replacements tonight for the Cavaliers. I think Coach Gallagher just wants to play a full game. They have Delaware Valley next Saturday, so they have that extra days of rest. These guys need to work.
They do, and you can't simulate that in practice. It's not the same. Game speed is just not the same. And we know Del Val, they have a lot of big young men up there playing football, and it's going to be a challenge for the Cavaliers, but they've got to take care of the Knights right now.
It's going to be a challenge for the Knights, too. They're going to face a Trojan team playing very well, even though they're losing tonight to Valley View. Maloney, and it's picked off. Cam Palermo, the defensive tackle, was downfield, and boy, is he excited. Why not? It's a big man, INT.
Well, when you do a zone blitz and you drop a D lineman back into hook to curl, look at that. He was ready to go, and he dropped to his perfect spot. Look at that. Who says that big guys don't have ups? Great job.
3 interceptions on the night for Maloney with 11 minutes left in this game.
Well, if you don't think 5-5 is torqued up right now, I hate to see him right now. Lining up that right guard position, you can see him there on the right side of your screen, folks. He's going to be blocking like he's never done before.
And he's got to block Javon James, so he better focus. James gives him some work, but Reese Tanner, the big tight end, gets the ball, and he rumbles and bumbles for 9 in tonight's territory.
Well, Cam Palermo that time, he did.
So 3 interceptions tonight for Maloney, just forcing the ball downfield.
Well, again, when you're down 31-zip, you're trying to make things happen. It's just a great job, man.
I got to check his hands. What's his hand size? He just took that out of midair.
I don't think anybody is old enough to remember Fred Bolitnikoff in the stickle that he used to use. But I'll tell you, what a big set of paws, a paw that he got that ball. Great job.
Well, his brother now is going to get the carry. And he rips forward. Maloney on the tackle, and it's a figure law first down for the Cavaliers. The Knights get back to work again. They have North Pocono, then we'll have them against Wyoming area in 2 weeks. So a lot to play for Scranton, for the Knights of Scranton.
Well, the road doesn't get any easier for any of these teams right now. So I like what Coach Gallagher's doing, having his starters in there. Even though they're up 31-0, they have not played a complete game this year, so they need the work.
And Mackerel has not been in a quarterback except for in the second half. So he's working with younger guys. We have a young guy, a carry. I think that's Will McPartland, number 12, the sophomore. And it gives us an opportunity now to talk about Will McPartland. Just a sophomore lacrosse player. I know him very well. His dad played for Scranton Prep in the early 90s. 1996 graduate, and we'll see Will here. His dad then went on to play for the University of Miami, the Hurricanes. Under the direction of Dennis Erickson. They had a big victory over Florida State, and his career, Big Will this is, 21 rushes for 76 yards with the University of Miami, 17 catches, and 2 touchdowns. He just missed out on the national championship, folks, 1 year too early, I should say. So that's Will McPartland, number 12. He got a carry. He's the future. They really like him. Very good athlete. Working him in right now as a sophomore. So Palermo with a nice gain too.
Yep. No, they're just doing what they do right now, trying to perfect it, make sure they have great technique going in. Again, Del Val is going to be a different type of beast. That they're a lot bigger, probably a little bit faster than what Scranton is right now. So they're going to be working their technique, and that's what the coaches are looking for right now.
Number 44, Byron Axtell, will be the fullback. He's a sophomore. So they set the chains after the figure law first down, and Coach Gallagher calls timeout, running on the field. He's running on the field for something. Wasn't sure. No timeout. McPartland powers his way ahead for about 8. They get him up, and the time keeps ticking down as Scranton Prep.
They just go with that the zone play, the RPO. It gave the ball that time. And McPartland, he's just getting it done, man. He's just getting it done. He's 6'1". You know what I mean? I'm just amazed. And all that's going to happen is that young man is just going to keep getting bigger and stronger over the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's 5'11", 180, just getting into the weight room. Now, Big Will is a big player. He's a fullback.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he's a fullback. Okay. Yep, all in all. Will McPartland Sr. Coaches youth lacrosse with me for a long time. Well, I should say with another team, Lakeland, but I've known them for a while. So good to see Little Will getting some
Not so
legacy
little Will.
work. Not so he'll be a good player. He's a good athlete. So he'll line up next to Mackerel. And they'll give it to him on the inside. He's got to figure law first down and more. Carries a couple players to the 15.
Boy, they tried to lasso him by the bottom of his jersey, and he just drug number 16 there for a little bit of a ride there. You see Pabst in there, sees him. Oh, well, not Pabst, excuse me.
Maloney, I think. No, that's not Maloney. 20.
20.
We called his name tonight, Reese Whitman. Whitman came in with 7 total tackles. He's a sophomore getting some varsity play. Back to McPartland. All he does is just keep driving his feet. Hung up at the 7. Now some pushing and shoving. This is what we have to watch now at the end of the game. Under 6 to play here.
And again, McParland's just trying to show that he can play the ball and he can be a tough runner. Look at that, ball security. Great job on there, covering up the ball with 2 hands, not allowing a strip or a punch to occur. And he just kept his legs going, which is frustrating for a defensive player because you're thinking, all right, he's going to go down. And when a running back does that to you, you really start to kind of lose your cool a little bit.
Bo Riley in there at receiver, a senior. Another lacrosse player, by the way.
I don't know, you and your lacrosse players, Coach, I'm not sure.
McParland nowhere to go. Good tackle by Whitman, number 20. So the 2 sophomores meeting each other. Actually a loss on the play to the 10.
Well, it was a high snap. The timing just was off a little bit. But, again, give credit to Reese Whitman on that, the 5'9", 170-pound sophomore playing that outside linebacker position. Nice job.
So Prep sprinkling in some skill players. They really haven't done much on the offensive line. So 3rd down now. Macro going to fake it, look to the middle of the field, trying to hit Suma at tight end, and he's lucky that didn't get picked off.
Bo Riley was wide open in the back corner of the end zone on this. They go with a little bootleg action. He was trying to hit the medium, and if the camera was able to zoom out, you'd see number 17 was all alone in the back corner.
So Hartshorn already with a 24-yard field goal. They're going to set it up again. This time the wind is at his back. They'll place it about the 16, so move back 2 yards, 26 yards. Now 10th throw to the freshman. Kroom the holder. Snap high. Kick is up, a little low. And it is through. 4:36 left. Prep extends their lead now, 34-0 over the Knights. We are back in the Electric City. 2 field goals from freshman Jack Hartshorn. He'll be a weapon come playoff time. They are ready for the Car Vision Nissan kickoff here. 4:36 left in this Lackawanna Football Conference Division I matchup. Number 4 versus number 7. It's been all Cavaliers from the opening kick. Nice strong leg. That's his strongest leg we've seen all night. Into the end zone for a touchback.
Rocket Models. We carry a little bit of everything from all over the world. Unique gifts are our specialty. Located on the 2nd floor of the marketplace at Steamtown. Rockin' Models.
So the upset of the night, if you're a high school football fan in the area, 4:27 left in the 4th quarter. Mount Carmel, one of our top 10 teams, losing to Milton 12-7. So not the defense dominating them for the Black Knights of Milton over the Red Tornadoes. So we'll keep an eye on that. So could be some major changes to our FNR top 10 coming up on Tuesday night during the Fox 56 News first at 10. And no surprise, Southern Columbia won over Lewisburg. So
and we saw Shamir Moore right there get the ball. Number 34. He's a junior, 6 foot, 152 pounds.
Dunmore and Riverside tied at 14, 7-12 left in the fourth quarter. That's a Division II game of the Lackawanna Football Conference. And another timeout on the field, 4:04 remaining.
Well, Connor Thomas is taking over the quarterback responsibilities for the Knights. So I'm sure Coach Schumbers is just going to settle them down, make sure that everything is good, and that ways they can continue this drive and hopefully find the pay zone.
Delaware Valley now extending their lead. They're beating Wallenpaupack, John Gumble, 41-14 in the fourth quarter. So it will be the Warriors and the Cavaliers right in Scranton and Dunmore next Saturday afternoon.
You said shut my man.
So now we're getting to see some of the second teamers in there for both teams. Kamani Sterling, saw him on a carry before. He gets a figure law first down. So we're under 4 here to play in Scranton. So we'll be back to work for the Knights. They'll host North Pocono. Then we'll see them in 2 weeks against Wyoming Area. And Wyoming Area tonight beating Nanticoke. Shamir Moore, a junior, with the carry. Tackled by McPartland.
You'll see that on this. There we go. They're just running their base sweep play there. 34 gets out in front. Good stalk out there by number 8, Perez. Yeah, it's late in the game. You're down 34-0, but you still have to play to the final whistle. And that's what the Knights are doing.
Kind of the same play the last 3. Good tackle. Shooting in Trayvon Dickey, number 24, now playing defense for Scranton Prep.
Well, they're going, yeah, Bob, you just hit it on the head. They're just going left and right because the young kids don't have the full playbook under their belts yet, and so they've got to be limited in what they can do, but they're trying to be successful, and they are. Right now, the key third down to try to keep the Knights alive on this drive.
I'm sure there'll be a JV game this week here between these two teams. Freshmen play as well. Quarterback Thomas with the keeper. Host of players in there for the Cal. The ball comes out, and I believe the Knights fell on it quickly.
Scrambling around, looking to see if he can try to make something happen here. Good job with the stalk blocks by his receiver and his running back, and it just cuts back inside. The ball, yeah, punched out by number, I think that was 24.
Trayvon Dickey again. Another junior.
These guys, like I said, when you're down, these young men for Scranton Knights on the offense, they just want to show the coaches that they can play football for them and that they can rely on them in case their number is called.
You know, everyone asks, what is your prediction? They ask you, they ask me. What do you how do you think the game's going to be? I thought it would be closer, but I wouldn't be surprised if Scranton Prep came in because you just didn't know how good they were in their first 3 games. I think they're pretty good.
Very good.
A 3-0 Scranton team, 34-0 right now, most likely the final score. And boy, Cavaliers looking pretty darn good, state ranked too.
Tomorrow is another nonstop all-day college football Saturday on Fox. Game 1 kickoff is at noon with number 7 Penn State taking on Illinois. Then the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky battle the Ohio State Buckeyes. And the primetime game is 1-1 TCU at 1-1 Houston. Get your fill of college football all day tomorrow, only on Fox 56.
So that was on 4th down play for the Knights that did not pick up a first down. McPartland handed it to the inside to Rutkowski. And the sophomore comes up for a figure law first down, but with flags down. This is probably coming back. 1:07 left in this one. Want to wish my daughter a happy birthday today, Rowan.
And happy anniversary to you and your lovely
yeah,
bride.
there's that too.
Tomorrow.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
And then I believe you just have a busy family weekend. Then what?
Three
Monday's
my son's
Nicholas's birthday.
Yeah, we get it all done in September.
You guys are efficient. The Ides are
Done.
efficient.
4 days, we're done. I love to tell you, it's planned that way. It's
Sure,
not.
yeah, wink, wink, nod, nod. I got you.
McPartlin fakes the RPO. He's got running room. He's got a figure law first down and more up to the 22. And should be one more play left. They'll stop the clock momentarily. And the Cavaliers are going to move to 4-0 on the season. Amanda will have our players of the game after. Brought to you by Manuka Subaru.
McPartland
and
just
I think
took
that's
a knee.
it.
Yep.
So Terry Gallagher, win number 75 as a head coach. And it's a huge one. As the Cavaliers defeat the Knights tonight here in the Electric City. The final score, 34-0. So it's back to work for both teams. Scranton trying to get back on the winning end next week against North Pocono.
Yep.
And as we mentioned, the Cavaliers will take on Delaware Valley. They're beating Wallenpaupack tonight pretty big up on the lake. So thoughts as we wait for Amanda to give out our Friday Night Rivals plaque?
Well, Scranton Prep just put an exclamation point on saying, we're legitimate this year. Watch out. The Knights, on the other hand, they ran into a buzzsaw tonight, and they are a very good football team. They lost to a much better team tonight, especially what killed them the most was the turnovers. When you start out special teams on the opening kickoff, that just set the tone, and unfortunately for the Knights, things just unspiraled at that time. So they're just going to have to get back to work. Bob, you were saying they'll probably have a JV game, possible freshman game, get those guys their reps, but they've got North Pocono, and Coach Dolan, we know, does a great job up there. So it's going to be another great game next Friday night. Crestwood looks like they're on the verge of possibly getting their first win. 17-7, fourth quarter over Wyoming Valley West. Loyal Sock cut the lead down to 21-19. Berwick 21-7 over Williamsport.
Okay, Andrew. Amanda has Andrew Suma and Liam Baird. Sorry, Amanda. Our players of the game. Down to you.
That's right. I've got Andrew Summit and Liam Barrett. Guys, congratulations. You are our players of the game, a big win tonight. What can you take from today's victory, moving ahead and looking forward to the rest of the schedule?
We played well, but there's certain things we have to fix, especially for Delaware Valley next week. If we fix those things, I think we'll be a pretty well-rounded team, and we'll make a far run in states.
How do you guys fix the penalties and the mental mistakes that you guys made early on?
We just got to stay focused. I feel like we got in our own heads at certain points of the game, and we can't let that happen, especially against an athletic team like Scranton or next week like DV. So we just got to get out of our own heads and move on to the next play.
Definitely. Is this a game that you guys can gauge where you're at so far? I know looking ahead at state rankings and things like that down the road. So is this something where you can take to see where you guys are so far?
Yeah, it's definitely a better team, the best team that we played so far, and it definitely shows us how much we need to improve for next week.
What was Coach's message to you guys at the half?
Just remember last year, what happened to us last year, how we came out flat-footed, and it was like a revenge game for us.
Don't let our foot off the gas,
don't
too.
let our foot off the gas.
Keep going, finish the game strong.
Exactly.
Thanks, guys. Congratulations, and good luck with the rest of your season. Thank you. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, they're going to be tough to beat. We'll see next week with the talented Warriors team. And, it's a strong division. It's always a strong division in Lackawanna Football Conference Division 1. North Pocono Valley View, their last game of the year here. So, yes, it's a big win over Scranton, but it's only week 4. There's a lot more to do, and as they said, there is room for improvement. And on both sides, too, it's going to be back to work on Monday.
It is, and right now, Coach Chumbers and the Scranton Knights, you know, they're feeling the sting of this defeat this evening, and they're just going to have to regroup. And they know that it's a long season, and it's only one game, and it's not indicative of what this program is heading and where they're going and how good they could be. Now, for the Prep, they are so focused, and you heard the players say, yeah, this was kind of a little bit of a revenge game for them to make you know, amends for last season's on some of the losses they felt they shouldn't have had. And I loved how they said, we have to get ready for DV now. Again, they're only thinking about one game at a time. And that goes to the coaches of both staffs, that they just have to, you know, focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, great job by Tyler Macro replacing Lewis Pears. We'll see what happens with him moving forward. But the senior came in and led the Cavaliers. So next week, we are supposed to have Shikellamy and Selinsgrove down at Shamokin or at Shikellamy, depending if their field was ready or not. But due to the Jersey Shore Shikellamy game, that has been postponed, moved to Saturday. So you and I have to figure out a new game for next week, and we will do that. We will announce that next week, and hopefully it'll be a quick turnaround for our crew, but another spectacular job by our crew.
Those guys, they are the best in the biz, and they make us sound and look good, Bob.
Well, they sound good, so I think sometimes. So, great job tonight by our crew. Amanda Cool, good job. Jan, great job. Bob, you're all right. So the final score, number 4 over number 7. That's a 34-0 shutout. Don't forget, you can check out the Friday Night Rivals Top 10 Tuesday night on the Fox 56 News first at 10. So long, everyone, from the Electric City.
You're watching Manuka Subaru Friday Night Rivals, sponsored by USA Metal Roofs on MyTV WQMY.